when you're ready, go ahead and head to your yoga mat if you're not there already. We're going to start laying down today. I always encourage extra props if you want some extra comfort, maybe bringing something underneath your head, maybe something underneath your knees, or a blanket to pull up over you. So just finding your way somewhere. Maybe it's Shavasana, corpse pose with your arms and legs extended. Maybe it's a nice constructive rest pose with your feet standing up near the edges of your mat and your knees coming together at the center. Go ahead and keep adjusting until you feel about as comfortable as you think you can. And thinking about the back side of your body. Feel the downward pressure, maybe giving you this sense of groundedness or stability, presence. And then scanning your awareness from the tips of your toes slowly all the way up and through the body. Just seeing how things are physically for you. And then scanning through your energy, whatever that might mean to you today. Let's just take a general scan of your energy. How is your energy feeling? And then scanning your experience for emotions. Are there any emotions present that you can name? And finding your breath. Let's do some diaphragmatic equal breathing. So we're letting the belly expand. So we're breathing low and slow, expanding through the belly, expanding through the ribs. And exhaling, softening everything back down. So just go ahead and follow your breath like that. You could bring your hands to your belly or somewhere so you can get a little feedback when you breathe in, belly expanding and pressing into your hands. And exhaling as you let all of your muscles soften. And with equal breathing, without being too rigid about it, we're just breathing in and then breathing out for about the same amount of time. Steady inhale. You could count your inhale if you want. And then exhale, counting that same number if you want to count. Otherwise, just kind of wing it. Breathing in and breathing out. Like you're clearing the slate. Every exhale, just kind of clearing things out of the way. So you can bring in some fresh energy, some rest, some movement, some care. And if you'd like to set a dedication or intention for this practice today, now is a great time to think of that. Let's take 3 clearing breaths now. We'll inhale, filling all the way up. And then with your exhale, sigh or blow out of your mouth. Do more like that, your own pace. And if you're feeling ready to begin moving, let's slowly wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe start to circle your ankles and wrists a couple of times. If your eyes are closed, maybe you slow motion start to open them halfway. Or maybe take some long blinks. And work your way to a long body stretch like you're waking up from a nice nap, just stretching arms up and overhead, fingers and toes reaching in opposite directions. All right. We can lower the hands down by our sides for now. Let's bend our knees and stand the feet up on the mat. Notice your low back here and then tuck your tailbone under so that you're kind of flattening your low back to the mat. Okay, we're gonna press that right foot down a lot and start to lift and straighten or almost straighten that left leg up toward the sky. The more you press down with that right foot, I think the easier it is to keep that left leg high. You could always hold on to it behind your thigh there if you need support at any time. Let's rotate out that left ankle a couple times, both ways. Pointing and flexing a couple of times. Feeling your calf muscles when you're flexing. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of a stretch there through the calves. Wiggle your toes. And we'll do a couple lifts and lowers with this leg. So we're gonna flex the toes, or flex the ankle, pulling the toes back toward you, and start to lower your left leg down, so keeping that leg straight, and we're lowering down. At the bottom, your choice if you touch down for a second of rest or keep it lifted, then point your toes at the bottom and lift back up. And then flex and lower. And point and lift. Okay, take a breath in at the top, flex your foot, and exhale, lower that left leg down. Inhale, point your toes and lift that leg back up. One last time, exhale, flex and lower. Inhale, point and lift. Okay, and then bend your left knee and place that left foot down on the ground, and just take a moment with both feet down there on the floor. Just take a rest for a moment. Maybe you can feel like a new sense of vitality or freshness through that left leg. I feel like it just is very different than how my right leg is feeling right now. So let's even it out. Press that left foot down and start to lift and straighten or almost straighten that right leg on up. Remember, press down through that left foot a lot to help your experience. Go ahead and rotate out that right ankle a couple times, both ways. Pointing and flexing a couple times too. And wiggling your toes, spreading the toes out. Just making sure everything's working. And then we'll flex that right foot, pulling your toes back towards you, and start to lower your leg down, keeping the leg straight. Getting to the bottom, we'll point the toes and lift it back up. We'll add breath now. So at the top, we're going to find an exhale, flex and lower. Inhale, point and lift. Just follow your own breath here, exhaling as you lower. Inhaling as you point and lift. Maybe one more time here. And then at the top, bend that right knee, set your right foot on the ground, and just rest for a moment, noticing how much work there has been activated or how how that work has activated the lower half of the body. One of the most requested topics for classes are hips. Hips this, hips that, hip opener, everything, and they're so wonderful. We always need to pair hip opening with hip strengthening. So hopefully this will feel really nice too. Okay. Let's take a little windshield wiper motion. So the knees just kind of falling to one side and then to the other. Just go ahead and do that a couple times. Knees swaying side to side. A little bit of a twist. Okay. When you're ready, pick a side, roll over onto that side, and then press your way on up to a comfortable seat. Clearing your props off there if you had any you were using. Let's go right to hands and knees actually. So hands will be right below the shoulders, knees right below the hips. Take a couple rounds of our cat and cow. So start to lower your belly, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze, find cow. Take a breath in. And then exhale, round on up to cat pose, tucking the tailbone, tucking your chin, pressing that air out of the lungs. Inhale, cow. Gaze lifting, belly lowering. Exhale, cat. Go ahead and keep going a few more times. All right. Coming back to center, let's thread the needle with some extra thoracic twisting and mobility. So pressing that left hand down into the floor, we're gonna start to open that right arm up toward the right side, finding your comfortable range. With your exhale, we're gonna just dip the hand down and through, but we're not gonna settle in. So just dip that right hand down and through like you're reaching for something there far away on the left side. With your inhale, unwind, start to do that upward twist again, reaching your right hand high. Exhale, dipping and twisting. One more time, inhale, reaching high. And this time, let's thread the needle, exhaling, sliding that right arm down toward the floor, maybe the right shoulder inside of the head. Find the floor if that's comfortable for you. Your left hand can stay in place where it's at, or maybe you walk that left hand up toward the top of your mat. Make sure you're comfortable. There's no need to stay in a variation if it's not serving you. Find your breath, send your awareness and your breath to that right shoulder and shoulder blade. Just see what's going on there. Two more breaths. And then plant your left hand back by your face. Press your way on up one last time. Reach that right hand high. Circle out that right arm a couple times in both directions. So just sweeping the arm forward and around, and then the other way too, maybe about 3 times both ways. And then set your right hand down. We'll switch sides. All right, for our thoracic twist, the thoracic part of your back here is like the mid slash upper back. So let's go ahead, take an inhale, reach that left hand up, upward twist. Exhale, dip and reach, so that left hand reaching down and through. Inhale, left hand goes high, left arm goes high, upward twist. Exhale, dip and twist downward. One last time, inhale, lifting high. And exhale, thread the needle. Left arm sweeping down and through, left shoulder and side of the head. Find the floor if that's comfortable. Walking your right hand up toward the top of your mat or keeping it in place there by your face. Sending your awareness and your breath now to that left shoulder and left shoulder blade. Just see what happens. 2 more breaths here. One last breath. And then plant your right hand by your face. Press your way all the way up, reaching that left hand high one last time. And then take some arm circles with that left arm, sweeping around both ways, maybe about 3 times or so. And then setting your left hand down. Let's go ahead and find extended child's pose. So knees out wide, big toes touching, and sinking your seat toward your heels. Maybe resting on your forearms for a moment or two, or maybe walking your hands up toward the top of your mat, and then sinking your head and your heart downward toward the floor. Finding that belly breath again, that diaphragmatic breath. Let your belly expand with your inhales. And soften with your exhales. Again, thinking about those exhales as kind of like a clearing of the slate, making way, making space. One more breath. Start to rise back up, coming up to tabletop, and then right down to your belly. So we're just gonna lower the chest, lower the belly all the way down. Let's stack the hands underneath the forehead, either hands or fists beneath the forehead. Let your heels kind of splay out to the sides. This is our crocodile pose. Take a few expansive breaths as you settle in. Just kind of a gentle opener here. Just subtly opening now. In the other direction, we're just back down. Now we are stomach down for a moment. And keeping your head as is, let's just bend the right knee so your right foot is now kind of hanging out in the air behind you. And then we'll switch. So as your right leg straightens, your left knee bends. So just one leg straightening, one leg bending, and then switch. So that left leg straightens as your right knee bends. Go ahead and do that a few more times and see if you can really feel which muscles are working. And then straightening both legs, pressing your feet into the floor. We're going to use that movement with our baby cobras today. So sliding your hands back down by your sides of your chest or even the low rib cage if that feels okay. Your shoulder blades hugging together behind you. With an inhale, we're going to rise up to baby cobra and bend the right knee. So just see about doing that. We're lifting head and chest, bending that right knee. And then exhale, lowering everything right back down. With the inhale, let's rise to baby cobra as the left knee bends. And exhale, lower. On this last round, let's bend both knees at the same time. Inhale, rise to baby cobra, bend both knees. And exhale, lower down. With your inhale, press on up to tabletop. Let's find our first downward facing dog here. If you want to grab your blocks, we'll bring those up to the top of the mat, spreading your fingertips out, really gripping down into the floor or blocks. Curl your toes under, start to reach your tailbone high. Find your breath here first, and then press your hands into your blocks, reach through your shoulders. And if you like, maybe pedaling out your legs, bending and straightening opposite knees. Maybe resting in stillness for a couple of breaths. Go ahead and mix and match with that. Just about one more breath here. And breath out. Go ahead and bend your knees, look up toward your hands, and then step or walk your way to the top of your mat. So we're in a ragdoll forward fold at the top. Feet could be kind of close together or nice and wide, whatever feels best on the lower half of your body or the upper half, just your body in general. Have a little bend of your knees, maybe finding a little bit of swaying movement here as you let your upper body hang out nice and loose. And then bend your knees a little bit deeper, tuck your chin toward your chest, and then walk your hands up your legs, slowly coming up to stand. When you get to the top, let's go ahead and find our little shake, our little bounce out today. So maybe lifting and lowering your heels, just letting your body find this nice kind of deep bounce. You might add on the arms a little bit, maybe shaking out the arms or the shoulders or the chest. Whatever feels like moving and shaking today, just go ahead. We're kind of freestyling, getting the energy flowing, getting the circulation pumping, feeling a little bit more alive. All right, when you've had enough of that, come on up to the top of your mat. Take a look down at your feet. Make sure they're a comfortable distance apart. Pick up your toes, spread them out, set them back down, kind of like you're gripping into the floor gently. Flip your palms to face the front of your space. And maybe close your eyes for a moment as you feel Tadasana, mountain pose. All right, with an inhale, let's rise up to the tippy toes, reaching the arms around and up as you go. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. We're lowering those heels, hinging at the hips, and then releasing the hands toward the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, hands slide up to the thighs. And exhale, bring your hands down to the blocks or the floor. We're going to step just the right foot back, lower your right knee down to the mat. Your right toes can stay tucked under or press the top of your right foot to the mat. Either way will do. With an inhale, let's reach high, joining fingertips overhead, but then leaving the pointer fingers out. So we're kind of pointing up toward the sky. Feeling this position for a moment. Your choice here. If you take this into a bit of a back bend, you could kind of draw a line back, maybe looking up, or you can stay put here. One more breath if you're in a little back bend, and then exhale, come back up to center. Breathing like normal. Let's just take a little bit of a side bend in both directions. So let's start side bending toward the right. You can let your right arm lower and kind of just reach through that left arm. With an inhale, come back up to center. A little bit of balance required. And exhale, drop that left hand, reach the right arm up and over, finding that side bend to the left. Inhale, back up to center. And then exhale, lower your hands down to blocks or the floor. Curl your right toes under, pick up your right knee, and then step your left foot back to your high plank, shoulders over wrists. One big breath in here. And then exhale, lower both knees, move those blocks to the side, and lower your chest. Take a breath of rest here, remembering that sequence of baby cobras, lifting one leg, or bending one knee and then the other, and then together, that's where we'll head next. So with an inhale, let's rise up to baby cobra, bending that right knee with you as you rise. And exhale, lower down. Left leg is next. With your inhale, rising to baby cobra, bending your left knee. And exhale, lower. Our last time through, we'll lift to baby cobra and bend both knees at the same time. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press your way up, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Breathing here. One more breath in. One more breath out. With an inhale, start to rise on up, tabletop. Grabbing your blocks if you like to use them, and then using an exhale to find your way to downward dog. Let's see if we can be here for 5 breaths today. Inhale, feeling strong, reaching through your shoulders, and exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 2 more breaths in and out. Last breath in. Last breath out. With an inhale, bend your knees, look up toward the top of your mat. With your exhale, step just your right foot forward and lower your left knee down to the floor. And give it a little help up if it didn't quite make it far enough. Inhale, lift both hands up and overhead, joining the fingers except for the pointer fingers. They're pointing up. Breathing like normal here. Take a moment, if you like, to find just a gentle back bend. So we're kind of pressing the hips forward. We're kind of drawing a line back with the fingers, maybe gazing up. And instead of thinking about just back bending, let's thinking about lengthening. So you're lengthening up and back. Coming back up to center as you're ready, we'll take a little side bend in both directions. Take an inhale at the top. Exhale, side bend to the left. Left arm lowers, right arm reaches. Inhale, come back up to center. Both arms lift. Exhale, side bend to the right. Right hand lowering, left arm reaching. Inhale, right back up to center. Exhale, lower hands down to your blocks or the floor. Curl your left toes under, pick up your left knee, and see about stepping on up to the top of your mat. So you're in a forward fold up at the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms go wide, hinging upward at the hips at the top. Let's take a breath in and lift up to the tippy toes as we join fingers or join the palms overhead. Exhale, lower your heels, lower your hands down to heart center. Breathing at your own pace, pressing thumbs into the sternum, seeing if you can feel your heart beating. Maybe closing your eyes if that helps you listen inward a bit more. Taking a few moments just to find and cultivate this sense of homecoming at the heart, your little secret cove of peace and beauty and presence, or whatever you want to make it. Let's take a clearing breath now, inhaling through your nose and sighing through the mouth. Go ahead and blink your eyes open. We can lower the hands down. Let's take a big step out wide here. So toes will be slightly facing out, heels in a little bit. With your inhale, let's reach hands high. 5-pointed star pose. We're just reaching up. With your exhale, let's lower to goddess pose. So the hands come together at the heart, knees are bending, and we're kind of opening the knees out, pressing weight into the pinky edges of the feet. With an inhale, we'll sweep those arms around and up, straightening the legs back up to star pose. Exhale, goddess, lowering hands to heart as the knees bend. Inhale, rising up, last time through. Exhale, goddess, pose at the bottom. Whenever you're ready, lower your hands down to your knees and then drop one of your shoulders toward the center first. So we're getting a nice little twist here in either direction. And then switching sides when you're ready. Other shoulder dips toward the center. You can go back and forth a couple of times if you like. Or just stay put. One time on each side, you recall. And then slowly rising back up. All right, toe heel your feet back in toward the center. And we'll do a little bit of balancing here. We'll do just a classic tree pose today. So shifting all your weight to your right leg. Find your little kickstand position with that left heel on your right ankle. Hands can be in place wherever you want for the most support for you. Find a drishti, an unmoving focal point to gaze at. Keeping your gaze intently at that drishti. If you're feeling steady, you might slide that left foot up to your right calf, or maybe all the way up to your inner thigh, giving it a little help if you want. We're gonna have about 3 nice slow breaths here, 3 more anyway. Feel free to add arm variations, lifting the arms up or out if you like. Just about 1 more breath in. And then exhale, lower everything back down. Give it a little shake if you want to. And then we're switching sides. So all that weight shifting now into the left foot, kickstanding your right heel up on your left leg. Hands wherever you want them to be as you find maybe that same drishti. Maybe you choose a different spot to look, maybe slightly higher or slightly lower. Once you're feeling really zoomed into that drishti point, if you're feeling steady, sliding that right foot up to your calf or maybe up to the inner thigh. Let's have about 3 more breaths, adding any arm variations that feel interesting to you. One more breath. With your exhale, coming on down, lowering, giving it a little shake if you like. And then we're heading down to a little yogi squat next. So feet out kind of wide. If you know you like to have support underneath your seat, maybe getting your blocks ready or getting some pillows or blankets underneath where your seat will go. So toes facing slightly out, heels facing in. You could just bend your knees and bring your hands to your knees here and just kind of hang out up here. That's definitely still a nice squat. If you have more room to go, you might lower down farther, maybe pressing your elbows in to the inside of your knees. Let's try to puff the chest up here, sitting up nice and tall. Don't go too far. If you realize you've gone too far, just go ahead and sit down. That's where we're headed next. Taking about 2 more breaths in your squat. One more breath. And then come on down to the floor. If you're on blocks, just moving them to the side for now. Let's lower down to the back. You can make this a little bit of a core strengthener if you like. We'll reach those hands out to either side and just slowly rounding the spine, seeing if you can lower down 1 vertebrae at a time, but no one's counting, so just do what you can here. And then when you eventually get to the bottom, let yourself find the floor. Just kind of going loose here, letting the back of your body just get a nice rest. Maybe a clearing breath or 2 if you like. And then we'll start to hug the knees in toward the chest. Let's give the low back a little bit of a massage by rolling some pressure around, rocking a little bit side to side, maybe circling your knees, maybe straightening your arms a bit so your knees get a little bit farther away from you. Tune into that very low part of the back, the sacrum. Massaging it out. All right. We'll have a little twist here. So bringing the feet down to the floor. Arms can go out wide for some support. Let's find eagle legs today. So we're going to pick up that left leg, cross it up and over the right leg, thigh to thigh, knee to knee, eagle legs. Let's pick up the pelvis, scoot on over just a couple inches toward the left side, and then set the pelvis back down. And then let your knees and legs start to slowly lower and twist toward the right. Make sure your left shoulder can be grounded down to the floor. Maybe let your head kind of slowly rock from side to side. Or maybe you pause and just keep your gaze straight up, maybe slightly to the left. Always have choices. Two more breaths. And making your way on up, gaze lifting, knees coming back up. Uncross the legs, scoot back to the center of your mat, and then we'll reset, crossing the right leg up and over the left. Again, thigh to thigh, knee to knee. And then scooting your pelvis over toward the right side of your mat a couple inches before lowering and twisting your legs toward the left. Same thing on this side, maybe letting your head slowly rock side to side, or finding somewhere along the way to rest. Checking in with that right shoulder, make sure it's relaxed, grounding down, touching the floor. If it's popping up and following you into your twist, maybe just coming out of your twist a little bit. Two more breaths. One last breath here. And then start to make your way back to center when you're ready. Uncrossing the legs, scooting your pelvis back to the center of your mat. Let's go for one more long body stretch here. Straightening your legs. Option to interlace the fingers and then flip the palms away from your head there and then press on up. See if that feels good. And then if there are any last poses, movements, or stretches that your body is asking you for, go ahead and move through those now. And whenever you're feeling ready for your final rest, go ahead and make your way there. Could be a very similar way to how you started today, or maybe you take a different variation. If you like legs up the wall, maybe you put your legs up the wall or up on a chair. Maybe you grab some extra props, something under your head, maybe something under your knees. Get cozy, settle on in. You feel that you have a little more energy you want to dispel before you can rest. Go ahead and take a clearing breath or two, just sighing it out. You might close your eyes. And if your eyes are closed, maybe you turn your closed eye gaze up toward the third eye center, the screen of the mind, is a drishti, a focal point that is an option for you. There are several different drishtis that you could take. I'll name a couple now. So you got the third eye center. You could try to look up even higher. They say like looking up toward the crown of your head, but just, see what that feels like to you. And the other drishti might be turning your closed eye gaze down toward the tip of your nose. So just experiment a little bit if you'd like, and then see if one feels the most restful. Letting go of the need to hold yourself up in any way. Letting all of the resources around you hold you up, your home, your mat. They're all strong enough to hold you now. Just letting go of all the muscle tension you might feel. Smoothing out your forehead, creating a little more space between your eyebrows. Softening your jaw. Scanning through your body, and if you find any tension, seeing if you can let it go a little bit more. And while you rest, I have a reading. It's called Blessing by John O'Donohue. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, blue, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays and the currach of thoughts and the stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. Please know that if you feel like resting more, you are very welcome to stay here and just continue your rest, just ignoring the rest of this class and closing. When you do feel like reawakening, start to deepen your breath. Maybe wiggle fingers and toes, slowly letting your head roll side to side. Maybe opening and closing your jaw, swallowing or yawning. Maybe reaching once more for a long body stretch. and eventually choosing a side to roll into the fetal position on, slightly tucking your knees in, maybe using your bottom arm as a pillow. Take a full round of breath here, just resting in the moment. And at the bottom of that exhale, go ahead and use the help of your arms and hands to press your way to a comfortable seat. We'll join hands in front of the heart center. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace in our actions, peace in our words, peace in our thoughts. Bringing thumbs up to third eye center. If it feels right to you, let's take a little bow forward together in closing. Peace.